Chapter 7, Part 2. It's still the 10th of January. Bogus' house, Dorothy Road, Richmond. 10:52 a.m. It was hot on my bike. It must have been almost 30 in the shade. As soon as I got to Bogus's, we went down to his room and I threw myself on his old beanbag. I told him all about the night before and then filled him in on the news from the morning. He sat there scratching and staring at me in disbelief. Again. You nearly drowned, you get kidnapped, and now your house is on the line? Is that what you're telling me, really? Right, I said. I didn't think things could get any worse. Plus, your dad makes some massive discovery and warns you of danger just before he gets really sick, and then some lunatic on the street chases you down trying to tell you your dad was murdered. Bogus started laughing. Man, this is insane. I know, I laughed back. It is insane, but it's true. I couldn't believe it myself, but I was living it. A year ago, my biggest concerns in life were maths exams, football, girls, my little sister pinching my stuff, and Mum and Dad not letting me stay out late enough. How did everything change so quickly? You have to go to the cops, said Bogus. Cal, are you listening to me? I can't, Bogus, I just can't. Why the hell not, he said, like I was crazy. This is massive, dude. You were kidnapped, thrown in the boot of a car, locked in a closet, knocked unconscious. I can't, all right? I knew it sounded like the most logical thing to do, but I didn't want to involve the authorities. That guy on the balcony told me to keep my mouth shut. They don't want me to talk, believe me. I don't trust them. What if they know where I live? They weren't afraid to hurt me, Bogus. Any of us could be in danger. And Mum, I continued, Mum, she can't handle this, not now. It's too much. She's already on the edge. Bogus shrugged. I really hope you know what you're doing. Anyway, your dad must have had a breakdown and then taken out all of the money. Maybe it was the virus? I nodded, glad he wasn't pushing the cop thing. But what could he have done with it all? I don't know, but the quicker we can work out what's going on, the quicker we can sort out this mess. He was right. I keep wondering, he continued, about your uncle. Maybe he took the money. He is your dad's identical twin. It wouldn't have been hard for him to pose as your dad. I shook my head. The money was withdrawn in Ireland. OK, but he did lie about the drawings, remember? Why would he do that? It didn't take much thought. Obviously, he doesn't want anyone to know about them. My thoughts exactly, said Bogus. Seems he didn't want anyone to even know the existence of the drawings, which means they're crucial, important enough to pinch and important enough to lie about. Bogus swiveled around on his chair to face me. It means, he continued, that Rafe knows those drawings mean something. He knows something about the Ormond riddle too. My mind felt like mush. I didn't think I'd ever be able to concentrate again. Too many things were happening to my family and they were all bad. Last night, I said, that's all they were going on about. What do you know about the Ormond riddle? What do you know about the Ormond angel? What do you know about the Ormond singularity? I kept telling them, I don't know anything. Except that for some reason they all have our family's name stuck to them. And then they started going on about a map. Did I know about a map? Had Dad given me a map? On and on and on. I had nothing to tell them, but they didn't believe me. I don't know what might have happened if I hadn't got away. They wanted to know about a map, asked Bogus. How do you think they even know about these things? They were at that conference in Ireland. I could hear them talking about it. I guess they found out whatever Dad did about our family. Your dad said there was going to be danger, said Bogus. He was right. I hadn't realised until last night just how dangerous this might be. Hide out, the man on the street had said. Lie low until midnight, the 31st of December this year. And I don't know how much Rafe knows about all this, I said. Ever since the day of Dad's funeral, he's been so... As I recalled moments of the terrible day, I put my hand in the pocket of my hoodie. Bogus, I've just remembered. I held up the key with the black tag. I know what it opens, and I know where the drawings are. 12:43 p.m. We jumped on our bikes and sped off. Cal, please tell me why we're going to the cemetery. The key opens the Ormond vault, I called out to him. It's where my dad is, along with my grandparents and a stack of other ancient Ormonds going right back to 1878. All of us end up there. You guys have a mausoleum? Creepy. So, all the coffins and ashes are stored there instead of being buried? Yep. The way things were going, I thought I might be joining them early. That fear made me pedal harder. I was going to survive this. I'd carry on my dad's work and unravel the huge secret he'd stumbled on. Crookwood Cemetery, 1st Avenue, Crookwood, 1:25 p.m. The key felt sticky in my sweaty hand as we hurried in through the heavy iron gates. The cemetery was a peaceful place with trees and small gardens intersected with footpaths. All around us were graves, some like low garden beds with just a simple headstone, while others were more elaborate, with angels perched on pedestals, stony wings outstretched. I wondered if the Ormond Angel was among them. I didn't think so. I was with Mum and Rafe when we placed Dad's ashes on a shelf in the family mausoleum, and I knew for a fact there was no watchful angel there. The sombre, stone, windowless building with its solid iron door, corroded by the weather, stood cold before us. In the stonework above the door was our family name and a coat of arms, also weathered by the wind and the rain. "Hurry, man," said Bogus. "I can see a uniform heading this way. Must be security." I stepped up the stairs and pushed the key into the lock and tried to turn it. It wouldn't budge. "Hey, you two, get away from there," called out the guard. "Come on, dude, hurry up," said Bogus. "I'm trying." I finally got the lock to turn and started to push the door open. "Get out of there! What do you think you're doing?" With the half-open door behind me, I turned to confront the cemetery guard. "It's okay," I explained, holding up the key. "We're family." The security guy had come right up the mausoleum steps. Even though he was standing 2 steps below me, he was still taller than me. "Only the legal custodian of this grave has the right of entry. Show me your certificate." "But his father's in there," Bogus said. "He has every right." "He has no right. He could be anyone claiming that. You two better make yourselves scarce." He pulled out a portable radio. "You can leave now. I have my partner down here to drag you two out, or I can call the cops. What will it be?" I pushed the door open further and caught a glimpse of the long shelf where my grandfather's coffin lay. But there was something else there. Something that certainly hadn't been there when I last stepped through the door. The security guard grabbed me, pulling me down the steps. He slammed the iron door shut behind me. Now his partner had joined him, a stocky, mean-looking man with a red face. "Get out of here before I call the cops. Bernie?" Bernie grabbed Bogus. "They're probably just a pair of ghouls sussing out a place to live." "Ghouls?" I asked in disbelief. "Weirdos who break into the big tombs and squat in them. Nasty sickos that we have to dispose of," said Bernie, tightening his grip on Bogus. "Get off me," said Bogus, shaking free. "We're going." 1:49 p.m. The security guys watched us as we unlocked our bikes and took off. I slipped the key back into my pocket. "That was a waste of time," said Bogus. "Not quite. I saw something in there." "Right, a ghoul," Bogus laughed. "No, I saw a large plastic container with a red lid, exactly the same as the ones I saw in Rafe's house. He's using our vault as a storeroom." "Well, I'd love to know what he's storing in there," said Bogus as we neared my street. "I think I know," I said. Just before we parted at the corner, I dangled the key in front of Bogus. "You know we're going to have to go back there, don't you? To make sure," I said. "When?" Bogus looked hesitant. "When there's no one around," I said. I don't like where this is heading. Home, Flood Street, Richmond, 2:23 p.m. The first thing I noticed when I walked in the house was again how unusually quiet it was. Mum had left a note on the fridge. "Gone shopping, be home a bit later. Fish and chips okay for dinner? Mum." I stood in the kitchen listening to the silence. It was the silence of something coiled up in hiding, motionless, ready to attack. "Gabby," I called out, "you here?" No one answered. "Gabby?" I called again. Nothing. I walked further into the house, cautious now, ready to run. What I found on the floor near the kitchen made me drop my backpack. Uncle Rafe, lying in a pool of blood. 2:26 p.m. I rushed over to him. He was unconscious and blood seemed to be seeping from the back of his head. Had he been shot? I ripped open my backpack, thinking my beach towel might stop the bleeding. I was about to ring an ambulance when an awful thought struck me. If Uncle Rafe was injured, then Gabby too might be. "Gabby!" I screamed, running down to her room. "Gabby!" My little sister's name froze on my lips. There she was, lying in the doorway of her bedroom, crumpled like a broken doll. I fell to my knees, my ear to her chest. She wasn't breathing. "Gabby," I pleaded, "talk to me." I panicked, trying to remember how to do CPR like we'd been taught at school. Short, sharp bursts of pressure on her chest, pinching off her nose and breathing into her mouth. My fingers trembled and I tried to calm myself down by remembering to count slowly between each breath. "Start breathing!" I cried, watching her body exhale the breath I'd just blown into her. I wanted to ring an ambulance, but I couldn't leave my sister alone and cold on the floor. What will Cal do next? You'll have to listen tomorrow to find out.